Hi again, Year 3. It is now Tuesday. Yesterday we did a 5 a day to get our maths brains into gear. I'm hoping that you shared all of your scores with us on Zoom in the afternoon yesterday. And you were all set an assessment task on time. So we have now hopefully had all of those in. If you haven't, if you can get them over to us today, that would be great, so we can mark them and put you into time groups so that we can see where you're at with your time work. While we get all that ready, today we're going to do a number lesson, and we try to do this once a week, either a times table or a number lesson in between our topics, so that we're keeping on track with all of our number work as we go. And today our focus is going to be on number bonds to 100. Now, we've worked on our number bonds to 5 when we're in reception, number bonds to 10 when we're in lower school. We should know our number bonds to 20 by now, quite quickly off the top of our head. And our number bonds to 100 are pretty straightforward when we're thinking of multiples of 10. I'm just going to get up the share screen here. So our WALT today is to find number bonds to 100. That's what we're going to do. And as you can see, I've recorded here our number bonds to 10, which are pretty easy now. We know these off the top of our head. So 0 and 10 is 10, 1 and 9 is 10, 2 and 8 is 10, 3 and 7 is 10, 4 and 6 is 10, and 5 and 5 is 10. We know those off by heart. We also know that these have got the cumulative effect, which means that they can be turned around and we will get the same answer, and it can be reversed. So we know that it can be 9 add 1, it can be 8 add 2, it can be 7 add 3, it can be 6 and 4, and it can be 10 and 0, 10 add 0. So we can switch them around as well. They're all of our number bonds to 10. Now we can use our number bonds to 10 to also show our number bonds to 100. And we can do that because we know that if we times the number by 10, we have to add on a 0. So just on the whiteboard here, I'm going to make those calculations that are on the screen into the number bonds to 100 using multiples of 10 only. So if I just turn it up this way, so 0 add 10 becomes 0 add what? If I times this by 10, 10 times 10. So these are my number bonds to 10. These are going to become my number bonds to 100. So 0 and 10. What would be my number bonds to 100? That's right, 10 times 10 is 100. 0 add 100 is 100. Perfect. Next one down, 1 add 9 equals 10. That's my number bond to 10. What do I have to do here? I'll just make this a bit bigger just in case you can't see it. What do I have to do to these numbers to make them my number bonds to 100? Well, I need to times them by 10. So 1 times 10, I should hope you all know, is 10. And 9 times 10 is 90. So 10 and 90 now become my number bonds to 100, my multiples of 10 number bonds to 100. So you can see the link here, we're timesing them by 10. Moving down, 2 and 8 is my number bond to 10. What would my sum be here for my number bond to 100? 2 times 10 is 20. Can you see I'm just adding on the 0 here every time? 8 times 10 is 80. So I know that 20 add 80 makes 100 as well. Okay, can you see the link between the numbers? We've timed it by 10. So now we've got 3 and 7. See if you can have a go at telling me what the sum will be to make number bonds to 100. Yeah, well done. 3 times 10 is 30. 7 times 10 is 70. So we've got 30 and 70. There's a really good pattern here. You can see it very clearly. Then we've got 4 and 6 becomes 40 add 60. And our last one down here, 5 and 5 makes 10. If we times them by 10, it becomes 50 add 50. So our number bonds to 10 link directly to our number bonds to 100, are multiples of 10 to 100. Okay, and these are multiples of 10 because they all sit in the 10 times table. So that's pretty straightforward, and I'm sure that you can all do this. Now, what I would like you to all do for me before you begin is to pause the video, and you've got a matching activity to match the multiples of 10 together. And I would like you all to go and quickly do that as a quick starter for today's lesson. So you literally just have to draw a line to match the multiples of 10 to make 100 together. It will take you 3 minutes. I'd like you to try that now for me. Okay, so hopefully you've managed to have a quick go of that. Very quick, easy starter, just so you can put your number bonds to 100 together. So they're the easy ones. Now we're going to move on to a written method of finding number bonds to 100 if we had a random 2-digit number. So it does become a little bit harder. So I'm just going to share the screen again here with you onto our smart book. Here we go. Back to where we were at the beginning. Here we go. So I'm just going to switch the page here. So this time we're going to use a written method. Our number bonds to 10 and our multiples of 10 to 100 are mental. We expect you to know them off the top of your head. And what we would like you to be able to do eventually is to have any random 2-digit number and be able to find the matching number to make 100 in your head as well. But to do that, what we want you to do is to show this in a written method so that you really get it into your brain how you figured it out. And then hopefully, as time goes on, you'll be able to do this really quickly in your head. Now, some of you may feel confident about doing this in your head anyway, and that's great. As I've explained to Otter's class before, it's always a good idea to have a method or a way to check that your mental idea of what you think the answer is correct. So it's always a good idea to have a written method to check your own ways of thinking. So if we start with the written method, and then you understand the process, then when you get to go to do it in your head does it for you instead of having to write it down. So that's the idea. So I'm just going to go through these ones with you, and this is what you're going to be doing today. So as you can see on the screen, I've got 45 add something equals 100, and I've drawn myself a number line underneath. I don't need a long number line. So I need to find out what the missing number is. Okay, now I could mentally count up, but we're going to do our written method. So I'm just going to get a pen. Now you have to excuse my handwriting on this because it's not going to be as good as if I was writing on the board. So if I just get a pen and write in at the start of my number line, just here, let's hope this works, 40, I told you it wouldn't be very straight, 45. You can see what I've written. Your handwriting will be much nicer than mine. I could type it in. So 45, because this is the number here that I've got, but I need to find 100. So 100 is obviously going to be, excuse my little handwriting again, I'm going really slowly with the mouse, 100 at the end, just there. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is to start at 45 and go to the next multiple of 10. So if I just do a line, and I might be able to do this without, here we go. It's quite a short jump from 45 to the next multiple of 10. So 45, what is the next multiple of 10 after 45? It's pretty easy. It's 50. So a multiple of 10, remember, is a number from the 10 times table. So we're going back to these numbers that you've just done a quick activity with. They will always end in 0. So remember that. A multiple of 10 will always end in 0. So the next multiple of 10 here is 50. So I'm going to write 50 on here because I've got myself to 50. Now, what did I have to add to 45 to get to 50? I had to add 5. So I'm just going to pop that above there. Now, we've done this in our addition before. There we go. Excuse my handwriting, year 3. I look like I'm back in reception with my handwriting on here, but I'm sure you can read what I'm writing. And then, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my next jump along the number line to 100. So I'm going from 50 all the way to 100. Okay, so counting in tens now, how many tens did it take me to get from 50 to 100? Okay, so I can go 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 5 tens, which we know is 50. So I've added 50 here. I can just put that in really carefully on there. Add 50. Okay, so I've now jumped from 45 all the way to 100, and I've done an addition method, a written method, to figure out my jump. So 45 to 50 is add 5. Then 50 to 100 is 50. And now I can see that my answer in this box, I'm going to change the colour, is 50. 55, because 50 and 5 makes 55. So my number bonds to 100 when using a random 2-digit number, I can work out quite quickly by drawing a quick line and doing my jumps to 100. So I've got 45 at 55 is 100. If I wanted to check that, if I wanted to make sure I was right, what I could do here, if I get a text button here, it might be easier. 45 add 55. I could use my column addition to double check. So 5 and 5 is 10. So I would put my 0 down underneath, carry over a 1. 4 and 5 is 9, add on the 1, makes 10. So I've got 100. So you could use your column addition to double check it if you wanted to, but you don't need to do that for today's lesson. The one thing I do want you to do is to draw a number line, and it can be on blank paper if you don't have squared paper, as long as you show me these jumps to the next multiple of 10 and then to 100. Okay, so we'll do another couple together and then you'll be able to see what I mean. Now this one over here, the missing number is first, but as we know, the cumulative effect means that I can put 78 first here and it won't make any difference to the sum, to the calculation. So I'm going to use 78 as my starting number. So again, I'm going to get my very wobbly pen and I'm going to put 78 at the start, even though it's the second number on my calculation. It doesn't matter, because we know that it doesn't matter which way around they go. I can write it either way in these addition sums. So there's 78, and I know I've got to have 100 on the end. That one's a bit neater, isn't it? There. So I've got to go from 78 and I've got to do a jump to show me the next multiple of 10. It's a very small jump here. 78 to the next multiple of 10. What would be the next multiple of 10 after 78? Think about it. It's got to end in a 0. It's from the 10 times table. Yes, it is the number 80. So I'm going to pop that on there. 80. Getting a bit better at this. I'll be a pro by the end of home learning. 80. And then I've got to do another jump on my number line to get me all the way to 100. And this is the easy part, because we're going from, oops, I don't want a straight line. I want a curved line to make my jump. 80 to 100 just there. So I'm going 80, 90, 100, 2 10s, which we know is 20. So I'm going to get my pen back and I'm going to write that I added in 20 there. 20. There we go. I've forgotten here to add in what I added here. What did I add from 78 to get to 80? 78, 79, 80. I only added 2. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And now I have found, whoops-a-daisy, I have found my missing number. My missing number are these two jumps together. So 20 and 2 makes 22. And that's my missing number. Very easy to do. And because we've done addition before on a number line, this should be a breeze for you. There we go. It's 22 and 78 is 100. And like I said to you before, I can write this either way. So I could write 78 add 22 equals 100, or I can write 22 add 78 equals 100. Either way round. So there's those two. We've got 2 more to do together. And then I'm going to show you what you're going to do today to prove to me that you can do this. So go down to here, 56. I'll go back to my pen. I'm going to put 56 on this end. And I'm going to put 100 on the end here. I might just need to move this down a little bit so you can see it. Move it down a little bit for you. There we go. So 56 is on that end and 100 on this end. So I'm going to go from 56 to the next multiple of 10. The next multiple of 10. What would the next multiple of 10 be? Remember, a multiple of 10 ends in 0, and it's from the 10 times table. Yep, you're right. If this was 50, the next multiple would be 60. So there's 60. And what have I had to add to get from 56 to 60? 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. I've had to add 4. There we go. And then my final jump then on here, if I can just get the line, is to go from 60 to 100. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So I've done 4 jumps, 4 10s, which is 40. So I'll write that in there, add 40. Now I do really apologise for my handwriting. I hope you can see what I'm trying to do, but it's very hard when you're using a laptop and a mouse to get it straight. So 40 add 4 makes 44. So 56 and 44 are my number bonds to 100. There we go. Now we've got one more here to do. So what I would like you to do is get a pen and a piece of paper, and I would like you to have a go at doing this one for me. And then we can have a go. Before you do your activity, you can check whether you did it right. So pause the video for a moment and have a go at that one, and we'll come back in a minute. When you've done it, you can press play again, come back and see if you got it right before you start your activity on your own. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at that last one. I'm going to get it back up so we can do it together. Okay, so here we go. So remember what I said, because it's an addition, it doesn't matter that this number is second. We can still put it at the front of our number line. So I'm hoping that's what you've done. So I'm hoping that you've put on your little number line, and it could have been on scrap paper. It's not going to be checked or marked. 23 at the beginning, and 100 is our final number. So I'm hoping that you've put 100 on the end there. Well done if you have. That's amazing if you have, and remembered those little steps. And then the next step that you should have completed on there was to jump from 23 to the next multiple of 10. So imagine this number is 20. The next multiple of 10 would be 30. There. What did you have to add to 23 to get to 30? I'm hoping that you realised you needed 7 to get to the multiple of 10 there. Well done if you did. Okay, and then big jump to 100, 30 to 100. So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 7 tens, which is 70. So I've had to add 70 here. So I'm going to pop that on my, oh, I don't need another line. Get my pen back. I need to add 70 here. So, oops, 70, add 7, gives me my answer here of 77. Did you get that right? I hope that you did. I hope you got 77. It's another one, another little activity. If you remember that number 77, that you can tell us on the Zoom chat that we have today whether you got the answer 77 in that starter. And when you go on to do your work today, our little catch up on Zoom, it's really a real good way for you to say, oh, I managed to do all my maths work today and I got it all right, or I found it quite easy, or I found it a bit of a challenge. So use your Zoom catch ups with your teacher to go over some of the things that you might have done at home today. So that's our little practices. Remember, we're finding number bonds to 100. What I would like you to do today, I'll just stop this share here. What I would like you to do today is I've given Hexagons and Squares, you've got one worksheet, and it's got a list of missing number bonds to 100. Circles, you've got some as well separately. What I would like you to do on some paper, if you've got squared paper, that's brilliant. If you haven't, it can just go into your workbook, your home workbook. And if you haven't got that, you can just do it onto paper. It doesn't matter while you're at home what paper you use. What I would like you to do is I'd like to write the sum out just as I had. I'll just go back to it. You write the sum like I had here. Draw yourself a line, use a ruler if you've got one. Again, if you don't have the facilities at home, that is fine. But if you've got one, please do use one. Draw a number line and work it out exactly as I've just shown you in the way that you've done it and had a go on your own here onto your piece of paper for each question. So I'm asking you for each question to show me the working out that you've done here, like we've done together here. Okay. If you know it mentally, that is great. This is a way of proving that you've got the right answer. So it's really important just for today that you show me you're working out, and I might challenge you then later in our Zoom catch up to see if you can do it in your head as well. So I'll just get up now the work that you're going to do today, if I can find it. Here we go. So hexagons and squares, this is, oh no, sorry, that's your extension. Here we go, hexagons and squares. So I've done a little picture to remind you that that is your work there. So you've got your date and you've got your waltz, which is to find number bonds to 100. You have got 10 questions here, random 2-digit numbers, and you have to find the missing answer. So you write the sum out, and underneath you do the working out like we've just done for each one. So you've got 10 to do there. Circles, you've got the same. You have got 8 questions on your sheet to have a go at. So yeah, do have a go at that. Now circles, if you want to challenge yourself, you are more than welcome. Once you've finished your page, if you wanted to have a go at the hexagons and squares, that's absolutely fine as an extension if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, circles, I will show you now. I've set you an extension for when you finished your 8 questions to do online, which is through hit the button, but I'll show you that in a moment. Hexagons and squares, when you finished yours, I've set you a little extension, which is the same as what you've just done in our little starter, is matching these mentally in your head. So it says draw a line to match the number bonds. Try to use the method we've completed in class, but mentally. So this time we're not writing it down. So you can see there's a list of numbers on this side and there's a list of numbers on this side, and you've got to find out which one matches to make 100. So that's your extension. Circles, if I can just get it up here, your extension, let me just get it up. It is hit the button. So you can just put this into Google. Oh no, it's not that one, sorry. You just stop the share just for, sorry children, I just didn't get the right link there. So it's through top marks there, and you go on to hit the button. If you go into number bonds, like I just have there, and there's one here called make 100 tens. Circles, this is your extension for when you finish your worksheet. So if you click on there, so the number is at the top and you have to tell me which one matches to make 100, and you'll get a score just like I have there. So 10 add something makes 100, and see how many you can score on down here. 70 add 30, etc. If we go back to the menu, hexagons and squares alike, you can do this as well. To challenge yourself, circles, you can do make 100. This time it's with a random number. Okay, so it's really thinking about your mental maths here then. Practiced it in a written method, now practice it in a mental way. So 57 to the next 10 would be 60, and I've had to add on 3. And then from 60 to 100, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 is 40. So 43 is my answer. So have a go and have a play at that once you finish your written work for today. That is your maths lesson, your number maths lesson today. I hope that I haven't gone too fast with you. I hope you understand everything that you need to do. Try your best, and then tomorrow we'll move back onto our time and we'll do the rest of the week then on time, so we should know where you are. So good luck with today. Remember, it is your number bonds to 100, and we can't wait to hear how you got on when we catch up with you later on our Zoom chat. Take care. Good luck.